Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, February 9th, a little before 8:40. I have just started moving our lines around, um, showing yesterday's value area high and low, yesterday's VPOC. Something interesting about yesterday's VPOC. Yesterday's VPOC is also the price at which we closed at and is also an overnight low. So that's certainly going to be a level that we're going to pay attention to if we get there today. Also, I made note of yesterday's overnight high and overnight low, and that's all I've done so far. Now let's bring in the homework chart and start preparing for today. So we're going to include yesterday's trading inside our micro composite. Since it has remained inside our micro composite, we're going to look for any swings that have been obviously breached and need to go away. This swing here, so it looks like it comes from this low back here. But this swing, we pushed through it to the downside at one point, tested it from below, and never actually got to it. We pushed through it again. We tested it yesterday from the downside, and then we just we still kept bumping our head against it. We ticked above it. We have wicks above it, but we have closes beneath it. I'm actually going to leave this one on. I'm actually going to leave this one on for now. Yeah, we're going to leave that one on. So this swing down here is the low from 2 days ago. Same thing. We went through it from the downside, but we haven't yet tested it really from above. So we're going to leave that on there. We're also going to adjust. Actually, this guy here, just going to move him to become yesterday's low. It's within a tick or so, so I don't need to really congest this with a bunch of swings. Looks like yesterday's high matched the high from the day before. Real good example of why we have these swings on the chart. We are going to we have a composite high volume node here. The other day in one of the videos, I noticed I was referring to this. Sorry guys, 1 second.
The headphones actually change color.
I love it.
What?
Let me say.
Watch the headphones.
Show it to him.
Either changing.
Oh my gosh.
It goes to every single color of the rainbow.
That's great, buddy.
And then changes to red again.
Oh
and
man.
Then to pink.
That's perfect. That's perfect for you. So handsome.
You brought me the right present.
Oh, that's great. Mommy and Daddy did a good job, huh?
I can't hear.
All right, we'll go over there. Mommy will set you up, okay? So yeah, in the other video, I noticed I was referring to this to a microcomposite, and I apologize. I just got so, yeah, for whatever reason, I was using the wrong terminology. But instead of noting it as a, you can see we have a former VPOC here. We have VPOC from 2 days ago, all in this same area. What I'd like to do is I'm actually going to show that as a composite high volume node, and the reason for that is we're going to see how it gets treated. I like the fact that we're going to have it as a different different type of line, just a different type of level, just to see if it gets treated differently than the other levels. Hang on, give me 1 second here. I'm going to pause this so you don't have to hear me try to fix my son's. All right, so now we have, let's take a look. The microcomposite VPOC has remained in its place. It looks like it's going to remain there for a while. If we start balancing down here at the lower end of this microcomposite VPOC, we could start extending out this high volume node and potentially get it to shift VPOC down. But right now we're going to start with some expectations here. Oh, you know what? Let's switch over real quick to the news portion of today. See what we have. Today is the 9th. So let's go 8:30. we had unemployment. 10 o'clock, we have wholesale inventories. 10:30, we have natural gas. Okay, so potentially a little bit of hesitation today at the open. I wouldn't expect much though. I think it's going to be a fairly the natural gas is really the one that I know for oil has people will be watching because a lot of times people trade oil or trading it as a correlated item to natural gas, meaning they're watching the natural gas charts to see how closely those charts are mimicking what the oil charts are doing. So we're currently trading at 52.90. Let's give ourselves a marker there. Okay, so we're trading outside of yesterday's range. We're opening in a gap up. What we are going to initially anticipate is going to be a. I'm going to stop that for a second because what I'm looking at here, what I'm trying to ascertain for a fancy word, is the value area. So it's down here. So right where this high volume node is also the value area low for this micro composite. So let's now we can go back to our expectation. Excuse me. And 52.90 just about. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to expect, considering where we're opening, I'm going to expect an open, and I'm going to expect a push to test microcomposite VPOC, which also lines up with a former VPOC from a daily profile, which also lines up with the high volume node here in the composite. So that's going to be the first thing. And we're going to see if we fail here or if we push through, I'm going to expect that push to go till this microcomposite VPOC, which is also a low volume node in here. In the most current microcomposite VPOC, a low volume node in the composite VPOC. At that point, I'm going to expect this to turn back down, chop around overnight high. And if overnight high breaks, then we're going to expect definitely a little bit of chop in here, maybe retest of overnight high, and then I'm expecting us to come down and retest the value area low from the current microcomposite. So that's going to be expectation number one. Let's see how to take a screenshot of these bad boys. Did I just take a screenshot? I guess I did. Let me just make a folder to save this. And today's date. And I'm going to steal the terminology from Futures Trader 71, and we're going to call it a hypo 1. Okay, now, back here. So that's our first hypothesis. Second hypo is going to be an open test of overnight high, fail at overnight high, make our way down towards overnight low, start chopping around here, yesterday's VPOC, which also coincides with overnight low, maybe a bounce away from it, and then ultimately a break down below it into the balance of this high volume node here, and I would expect us to somewhat respect yesterday's value area and kind of stay within that, within those parameters. Maybe stretch all the way down to yesterday's low. I really don't expect us to get below yesterday's low, so that's going to be hypo 2. Now remember, I don't care so much what I expect. Hopefully we're going to trade what we see, but this is just good to give us some starting point as to what we're going to try to watch for. Maybe we've planned it well enough that we're going to see a trade before it happens, type of thing. Hypo 3 is going to be where we get above overnight high and stay above overnight high. So we get above, again, we come, we tested this low volume node, excuse me, low volume node holds. We then come back, we test high volume node in the composite, this micro composite VPOC, maybe back down to overnight high hold, and then we come back up and we start getting to the microcomposite up here, which is the inside this area of this profile, of these overlapping profiles here. And again, you can kind of see it some in this composite VPOC. We can see it here. I'm sorry, composite high volume node, and we can see here in the microcomposite high volume node. So that's going to be expectation number 3. And those will be all we do for today in preparation for oil. All right, let's get this out of the way. Let's see what time it is. Oh, we got 9 minutes. Let's take a look at S&P. Unfortunately, I didn't make a recording yesterday. Well, it is unfortunate because my son was sick. Maximus came in the room with us last night. He was throwing up a lot, and I didn't want to be yapping while he was sleeping. So obviously nothing takes more precedence than him. So we went silent yesterday. I did have the team viewer on so that anybody that gets the team viewer ID from me could watch the trading if they wanted to. But I'll show you what we did. I'm happy to see any level of success with the ES, especially for me yesterday really was a really good day on the ES. We made probably, well, I'll just show you instead of me trying to remember. I'm not nearly as smart as I used to be. All right, which is not saying much. So just moving around: overnight low, overnight high, yesterday's value area high, yesterday's value area low, and yesterday's VPOC. We're going to go back and check one thing on oil here. One thing that I did not make note of. I just want to see where overnight VPOC is. Overnight VPOC coincides with the microcomposite VPOC that's already on our chart. So that's good. And that's good because that means we're automatically going to notice it when we get to it because there is a previous level that is already there. Okay, so now let's go over to the HOMO chart on oil. Let me show you the trading yesterday real quick from oil. So the hypo on oil yesterday, we had a couple of them, but one of them was that we were going to open. Here's the open. That we were going to open, and this is, if you remember on the hourly chart, and we'll see it in a minute, this is an area that every time we've come into this zone here, buyers have stepped in to push price up, and they've done it fairly aggressively. So what we were looking for at the open, we came into this area, no real divergence. We came back down towards this area with divergence. Didn't get my fill here. Pushed away from it, came back down, got my fill. I actually got in a little late. I stepped over to look at oil, and I noticed this move happen. So I was lucky to get into this trade because I had canceled, I think, if I remember right, my limit order to get in here, assuming that we had pushed away and that was going to push away for good at that point. But we had pulled back. We actually tested the lower end of this range, and you can see the BBs on the first two, on the 2584 and the 1597 and 2584, BBs started creating divergence. Now, as we come over further, you do get a bit of a rolling up in the 4181. We had already entered the trade here. We were entering this trade. 2 of the 3 BBs were certainly in our favor. We were using this congestion of levels. I actually got into all 3 contracts right here, which you can see. You can see here. Okay, so there's 3 entries. 2282. You just use that as the average price. And then what we were looking at is we were expecting that if this area were to hold, we were then expecting a push up, ultimately to test VPOC and potentially even value area high. So what we did, the way we traded it, is we took one off at our 8-tick profit target here. We took another off just on the value area low. Left our stop way down here. Never came back to it. And then we took our third one off here at the just under the VPOC. Really, really good trade. We got 5.5 points on one contract here, 3 1/4 here, so that's 8 3/4, and 2 here, so 10 3/4. That's 43 43 ticks. Just a great trade for us. Or to make it easier, 10 3/4, 500, almost. It's about $600 in the one trade. If you remember, my goal when I'll believe I got my trading right when I can average a $300 per contract per day, not per trade. So that one trade alone was 200 of it, and so really just a really good trade setup. Played it right, no hesitation. Oil, on the other hand, we had one. I can't remember. Well, I was starting to get that silliness again, where the orders were just filling themselves when they're not supposed to, and I probably should have waited to yammer about this till after we do the S&P homework. So we're gonna do that now. All right, so we've moved our lines around on the S&P. Let's bring in the hourly chart, and here again we're going to stretch out this micro composite. We actually have two micro composites here. One is just encompassing these last 4 days. And I'm going to stretch this one out because even though we ticked that down here, which you can see the setup I was talking about. This is the area, this zone here when we gapped above it. Okay, when we created this gap here, we tested it, came right back below it. But then here we turned into buyers. We pushed down into this gap and we bought. We came down close to into this gap here, bought it. Came to test it, bought it. So that's what made us feel confident about looking to get long down here. So I'm including yesterday's trading because even though we have this wick down here, it has next to no effect on the volume profile of this micro composite. This is the shorter micro composite volume profile, and I do want to have all this trading in one small profile, in one micro composite, because it's so balanced. Let's also stretch out the longer MC and micro composite, that is, and we're going to take a look to see where we're trading now. There we go. Okay, 2292.75. 2292.75. So we're trading here. Let's take a look what that does in relation to yesterday. So we're opening inside, outside yesterday's range. Okay, no problem. So what we'll do in a second, let's do it first. Let's adjust the high and low. We're going to need to add a swing here. So yesterday's low, awfully close to these levels that are all built up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this one down. Again, it's within a few ticks, and I don't want to overly congest the chart here. It's good. And yesterday's high, there weren't really any swings. Actually, there is. At this point, we're going to want to get rid of this swing. You can see we tested from whenever this swing was created. So it happens at some point in the past. You can see this hit right here. So this swing is off of this swing high, this level. So we came up below it, broke it, tested it from above, broke it, but it held, stayed above it, then again came up from below it, it broke. At this point, we're going to pull this swing out of here. I'm just going to use this one to mark off yesterday's high. Just to be sure I'm getting this right. I'll fine tune it on here. Okay. Back to our homework. So 2292.75 is what we're currently trading. Let's give ourselves a mark here. Okay, so we're very much balancing at the upper end of this micro composite, at the upper end of the overall composite. We're still sitting and testing the all-time high. We tested it again overnight. We can see overnight high came, looks like a tick or two away from the all-time high. So we're going to make, once we break the all-time high, I'm kind of at a loss for where to start placing targets, and we'll start messing around with like Fibonacci extensions, retracements, and projections, and measured moves and ABCD patterns and stuff like that to try to give us some type of ideas once we break that overnight high. But for now, let's we're gonna start with the first hypothesis is going to be where we're going to come and test this swing, ultimately test high, and let's assume we fail there. Actually, give us a nice little retest here. Let's assume we fail and we pull back into yesterday's value to yesterday's VPOC. And to tell you the truth, I think I don't see us coming below yesterday's value area low here and ultimately staying within this balance of these days. So that's going to be hypo 1. Then hypo 2 is going to be an open with a push down, possibly stop at value area high, reversal. I think if that does reverse, I think we're going to see a fairly clean move to come and test overnight high, and then I think at that point we would break. And I have no idea yet where we're going to put targets up there, but there are ways to figure it out. There are some things we're going to use. So it's just not something that we have ever looked at together. And I think I said the other day, I've never since doing this style of trading, I've never yet had a chance to trade a product as it's busting through its all-time high. So we'll see how that goes. And third hypothesis is going to be an immediate push down, chop at value area high, fail, consolidate a little bit between value area high and VPOC, fail, get to overnight low, fail, and then the question is, can we get back down into this gap area here? And if we do, we want to see are buyers going to step back in, or are they going to start letting it fall down? Because we have this entire low volume area here, right? And it makes sense that that's a low volume area because you can see every time we've come into this range, it's been a wick. That's it. So not a lot of trading has happened in there. So, oopsie. Let's do that again. So immediate push down, maybe slow down value area high, chop around VPOC, push below, get to overnight low, get to value area low, maybe come retest VPOC from yesterday, and ultimately push. And if we can get through this area here, and the way I think that would ultimately set up would be either consolidation, building up energy with the push, or the other thing could be a quick push through because you have such low volume here. Remember, low volume areas I usually tend to get either bounced away from quickly or pushed through quickly. So if we push through there, then the expectation would be come to the bottom side of that range, then have the range hold as resistance, have the bottom side of that range hold as resistance, and then we start pushing down, getting back into this distribution of the microcomposite here, which we can't see the bottom of it, but getting us back into here, at which point we're going to start targeting all the way back down to microcomposite VPOC here. Of course, before we get there, we have a couple of levels we have to get through, and we're probably going to want to add a couple of levels down there, but that's going to be expectation number 3. Oh yeah, sorry. This will be number 3. Oh, that's that's about as good as I'm making a 3 today. And let me just make a note of this. And that's going to be it for the morning homework. Oh wait, did I just yap through the opening of oil? I said yes. Shit. Okay. Anyhow, push to overnight high. Overnight high has held. All right. So, as an opening of the day trade, I wasn't here to watch this, so I'm not going to make an assumption that we should have taken it. But no big deal. So at this point, what we're going to be watching for, we're going to start watching for divergence to show up in the 610, 97. 5097 would be great as added level of divergence there, but that's a strong push up for the open. Let me just switch over here to this chart real quick. Strong push up with the gap up. Remember, above us 5320, we have a micro composite VPOC up there, so that's another area we're going to be paying attention to. Just give me 1 second. So we're coming back, testing VWAP. Middle of the day. You can see, although we do have retracement in the 610, no, in the BBs on the 610, we pulled back a little bit. Really, not much of a pullback. It looks that if we can hold here, it looks like a push to the top side will give us a higher high of day right now. So I am looking potentially to get into a long here. It's a little bit aggressive. It's not a huge pullback, but percentage-wise, it's actually nice. It would be a little bit aggressive to take our first entry on here because we'd really want to be scaling in. We certainly want to include this swing and potentially all the way down to this fall microcomposite VPOC, overnight VPOC, and this swing down here. So it will be a little aggressive to get into the trade right now, but it does actually look, unless we see something change, it does actually look like a nice potential setup. So sitting at VWAP, overnight value area high. So we've gotten a little bit of a bigger pullback now in the 610. We did miss a nice short up here. Take a look at the negative divergence here. Upward moving price, downward moving BBs. This one really didn't give us much divergence, and we did get divergence here. So we had divergence on 2 of the 3. So I don't know if I would have seen it, to be honest with you, but that is a decent trade setup, especially with the opening push. Still testing this middle here, the middle of the day, below VWAP right now. Kind of stuck between this 21 EMA and the VWAP. I think the setup I'd rather see right now is the failure, retest failure at the overnight high, allowing us to to come back down. Show that again. Retest failure at the overnight high. You can see my crosshairs when my mouse is on another screen, allowing us to come back down into yesterday's range, which is excuse me, yesterday's high. There we go. Yesterday's high and yesterday's value area high are the same thing. We closed. If you look at yesterday's profile, the entire so. Yeah, bad job on my part to not have the screen up for the opening, but that's all right. It's all right. A lot of trading here. You can see, of course, VPOC in here. Notice when we did make this push up, we did get a little bit of volume up here, but we spent what 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 bars up there, 3 bars down here, and excuse me, and we are at VPOC right now. So this is more people are interested in trading right now at this middle of the day. So right now it's really just sitting on the sidelines. First trade opportunity was missed, no big deal. What's real nice about this opening is you get an opening test drive, right? So you get a drive right up to a level that matters. And as I understand, and I'm not going to get into opening types for volume profile right now, but as I understand, the difference between an opening drive, an opening test drive, and there's one that has the word reversal in it, I think, and I can't remember what it is, but I think the difference is when you have an opening test drive reverse, when it happens at a level that matters, that's when it's that particular type of opening day type. Now, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Maybe over this weekend I'll spend a little bit of time getting a little better with that, but looking here still potentially for a long, but again, that 610 really hasn't turned down much. All next to no move down on the 987 and no move down at all on the 1597. We had the one BB come in under the upper band there on the 1597. This BB has come in below these bands here, but you can see that the idea would be if we push towards high right now, I don't think that I know we're not going to get any major divergence down there. We did have a little bit of divergence, the part that on the trade that we missed there. So there was a little bit of that. And now we wait. Let's also focus here. We have this this micro triple top. Should have been looking to get short. I just don't like that there isn't more divergence out of the 987 and 1597. So we're gonna stay patient here. Not much to do right now. So we do have divergence on the 610. None of the other two have it. Let's see if we're gonna maybe form a channel here between mid and the current high, or are we gonna try to make a push? You see, we don't have much above us there. Let me just make sure there aren't any levels on this hourly chart that have not come over. No, not. Excuse me. Let's see what this is going to try to come to. So we've already seen middle of the day get respected. 21 EMA was respected. VWAP was not so much, but those two are starting to converge now, the VWAP and the 21 EMA. Remember, above us, microcomposite VPOC is at the 53.22-ish level, 22, 23. So this break up above into this area here, granted, it could stop anytime it wants to, but a break above into that area, that really does become our expectation, is to get up to that microcomposite VPOC and potentially ultimately up to the 5350. 5350. I don't know if you guys heard him. Heard Maximus just yell, but he's got new headphones on. Apparently they're too loud. 5355, 5357, low volume up above. So a lot of room above here, and I'm not gonna let that get into whether or not we should be long or not. It's just that if we do get long, that we have an idea of where we're going to put some profit targets. So coming back down, test VWAP, test 21 EMA, real tight range. These swings from top to bottom is 11 ticks, 10 ticks. So right now it's not even. We're coming down from 03. So this has only been what 5, 6, about a 6-tick move down. So just kind of got to hang out a little bit. Remember, the longer we stay in consolidation, the more energy we're building up for the next move. Don't know which way that move is going to be. Still no real divergence. 610 has it. 610 has a nice negative divergence at the high of day, but we don't get. We're not really getting any correlation between that and the other two. Certainly not enough to excite us. I know back in the old days when you had like snow days, and I don't even know how bad the snow was. Haven't actually checked yet, but you know you would expect slower volume. But today, everything being electronic, you don't have to leave your house. So I don't think weather should have affected volatility. There we go again, making a next push towards current high a day with further divergence in the 610, but none in the 987, 1597. Kind of got to sit on our hands here. You got a trend line forming here. see if we pull back down, test that trend line. I wouldn't be going long off of it, but just to show you. Once again, VWAP 21 EMA getting tested and holding. You can see it held right here. Just got tested again, held again. I mean, we're squeezing this range so tight right now that it's only a matter of time before we poke through one of those. I wouldn't mind a nice pullback, still potentially for a long, but I guess it really all depends on how it sets up and what it does to the BBs. But if I had to guess, and I'm not trading based off of this guess, if I had to guess, we're still got to move up here. Might be worth scaling into a position here, starting at VWAP middle of the day and this swing. But problem is, if we get below at this point, if we get below middle of the day, you know, we might look to test underneath overnight VPOC, come down, take it over. Excuse me. Another test of VWAP, another test of 21 EMA. Right now they're sitting at the same price. Still no real divergence on the 987 and 1597. Really haven't turned down. Now, that's not all that surprising because there's not a lot of movement here. You know, it's 11 ticks, but that is interesting. That is interesting to see that. I mean, it would lead me to believe that if we did get any decent push, that those BBs are going to continue to show no divergence and a push higher to reach the high of their day at the same time as price reaches the high of its day. 610, the 610 tick chart, that looks a little bit different down there in the bottom left. We do have our divergence there. Just came through VWAP to the downside. Let's see what Let's see what happens here. So it looks like a lot of absorption, a lot of people trading. You can see that tick going down, 146, 144. Looks like a lot of people. Well, I don't know a lot, but at least I saw 20, 30 ticks go off down here, and that's we actually have what's called hidden divergence on the 610 right now, where price. I know we haven't talked about this yet, so I'll show you. Price is moving up, so you have a higher low, while in here you have a lower low. I think that might have been it right there. We have to assume that if we just tick above here, we'll see a strong push because you have a lot of people that have stop orders here. You know, think about it. All those people that were down here selling when we saw that tick counter going down, all those people that were selling, there you go, there it is. That's a trade that I should get more confident in. You know, we see the absorption. Here comes our Merkle Composite VPOC. Regardless that I wasn't in this trade, how nice is it that we can plan? It'll be even nicer when we execute, but how nice is it that we can plan for exactly what we talked about here? Once we get up into this level above overnight high, it's going to push straight through Merkle Composite VPOC. No surprise that it slows down there. Messed that one up. Actually, pretty poor trading today. Missed this one because I was looking at the S&P. didn't trade this one for really no good reason. You know, pull back the VWAP, pull back the middle of the day. I mean, at the time, middle of the day was right here. There's no reason not to have been in that one. Watch this absorb. No. You can see we left a huge low volume area here. So you know, again, wouldn't be awfully surprising to see us push back through, at least to some extent through it fairly quickly, fill in some of this, and then start maybe filling in some of this volume here. Little disappointed in the self right now, but that's okay. The more and more we see it, the more and more we'll trust what we see. See, now the question is, are we going to get above this and ultimately push to the low volume? Excuse me. We have Merkle Composite VPOC, or we should have one. Wait a minute. Get in here and draw. Get in here and draw this. Oh, that's funny. Okay, sorry. Okay. Let's see what the ES wants to do. Be open here. Notice on oil, we are starting to see that rollover on the 610. That happened nice and quick. We're also starting to see a little rollover on the 987, none yet on the 1597. So still the way that's setting up, we're looking for potential pullbacks for a buy, especially if the pullback is deep enough to give us enough room from our entry point up towards the current high day. So ES opened above yesterday's high. Let's see if we can't get a retest down here. Yesterday's high, value area high. I'm gonna draw something from the hourly chart over here on our on oil. We have a naked VPOC from 2 days ago, looks like, or a couple days ago. Let me show you where that lines up. Look how nice. Look how nice that stops right there. So again, we have 610, 610 divergence, but none on the 987 or 1597. So not looking to just jump into a short here yet. We have market composite here over 38, and then we have one more above us that I think if we can hold up here, really the next test above is going to be for this 53.52 area. ES kind of giving us that same type of look. You know, you look at overnight high, we have real nice divergence on the 1597. You know, I know we haven't gone to the top yet, but the way it's set up is most likely if we were to get to the top right now, we'd have divergence. Looks like the same would hold true in the 2584, but that would not be the case in the 4181. The 4181 would probably give us would not have divergence from this swing to this swing. So we held here, current high a day, 610 divergence. The negative divergence on the 610 has held. I don't want to be buying here. If it doesn't give us enough of a pullback, so be it. Really would need to see something back down towards VWAP, overnight high, middle of the day. I mean, we have all these levels here. In fact, that's going to be that's going to be where we start getting orders in the book, so to speak. So we have 7. We're gonna scale. These aren't going to be huge scales. Oh, really? Come on. So it just filled my order, and obviously we're nowhere near it, so I don't know what the fuck that's about. Hang on. I'll tell you, I wish it does that to me when I'm live. I just had a buy order get filled, what, 7 ticks away from where we actually are. I don't know why that keeps doing that. Let's see if that helps. So once again, let's put one out here. Same nonsense. It just did it again. Apparently, I'm in 2 contracts from 51.94. I wish I could tell you why I was doing it, but sorry. So I'll talk out the trades if they set up. Consolidating at the top here. Very well could be setting up for something along these lines. So we have consolidation here, push up, consolidation here, push down, consolidation here. Where it goes from there, I couldn't tell you. I'll use some of our indicators to help me with that. But that would be a fairly classic pattern. What looks like might be setting up as well right now with the way this is going is if we do pull back a little, even if we don't come back to the scene of the break out from here, if we pull back down to here, we'll start getting that rollover in the BBs, potentially giving us a setup for a short like that right there. We do have a level that we can use. We would have to really be careful how we're scaling because above there's not much. The other day I started talking about this, how sometimes you have to get all in. Let's just take a look for a second. Let's assume that this set up a little differently and we did get a short setup. We would want to get into our entire short somewhere around here because this is exactly what we're afraid of happening when we're trying to scale in. When you blast through a level and there's nothing really to slow you down. So you'd have to scale in here from 03 up to 23, which I mean, if you wanted to, you could have a 20 tick scale in, but that's a little big for me. I'd really rather try to have nothing more than 15-ish, certainly within context. But here, so here, same idea is happening up here. Now this is a little bit closer, so we have 38.23. So depending on how this sets up, but even here, I don't like the scale because it's just one giant void. There aren't levels within it to give us an idea of scaling it. So same thing here. If we do see a short setup, if we do get those BBs to roll over a little bit more, they're starting to do it. If we do get the BBs to roll over a little bit more, make another test towards high of day. This what is now no longer a naked VPOC, but this former VPOC and this microcomposite VPOC. If we get a push up towards that, we're probably going to be entering all three of our contracts right in this area. I doubt I'd even bother scaling in, tick here, tick there. I'd rather have my full position, put my stop above this microcomposite VPOC, and if it breaks, okay, then we're going to assume we're wrong and we're heading up for the next one. But if it holds, then we're in our full contract, and we would be looking for a turn down, and we would be looking to stop right above here. ES really didn't give us much to work with here. Open, pushed down a little bit, came and tested this swing. Really don't see anything on there. Tell you what, we're going to take we're gonna start getting into our trade here. So the reason we started getting into our trade, where is, wait, am I in a trade? Am I not in a trade? Okay, so we got in at 18. I think that's about a tick worse than I was expecting, but that's okay. Stop is going to be above this market composite VPOC. I wouldn't mind getting my third contract filled. Now, normally, you know, when trading live, I'm going to handle this a little bit differently. So, like, you know, if I knew I was looking to get all 3 contracts at once, I would have went in here. I would have changed this to 3. The way I do it now is I just hit the sell button 3 times. So, and on simulation, I know that's a little bit riskier. You know, it might decide to fill me on 2, not all 3. We are also going to start taking a look at what's going on here at on ES. Prop targets for this trade. I'm not using the 10. Oh, I probably should. What are we, 18? Yeah, so we are going to start with 8 as one profit target. Really have to watch what happens as we come down to this level that we broke to decide if we want to close. I'm not going to put a profit target in, you know, just out there right now for that second contract. I'm going to hang on to it. Let's look at what happened here in ES. Oh, come on. It just did it to me again. Piece of shit. I'll send an email out to NinjaTrader today. Oh, we've done that before. I don't know why it's been doing that. So what we're looking for right now is we're looking for 08. What has it done? So it only shows me there's one contract now. All right, no big deal. So we're looking for 08 as a profit target down here as our first profit target, and we're going to kind of watch from there. ES. You know, we have diversions from the high from overnight. You know, from that high back, from back here to here, we have a substantially different movement in the BBs. You know, you can see the slope here is fairly flat. Slope here is fairly steep. Same with this. And this is up. So the so we're not getting confluence here. In fact, this is talking to us about maybe looking to get into into a long on a pullback here. Excuse me. And you know, again, we're so close to all-time high. Just watching oil right now too. So oil, we would maybe not have been ticked out. No, we would not have been ticked out yet of our stop. I'm sorry, profit target. So at this point, I would actually close out of that one contract, sacrificing a tick or 2. So I'd be at it either 9 or 10. I don't really care. Still have one contract on. A lot of absorption down there. Right here again. So watch that 3. Look at that. So right there, that was another 20, 30, 50. That's a lot of contracts that are getting bought up. I'm sorry, the people are buying. You know, so people are hitting the bid to sell. People are going short here, and there's a buyer or buyers willing to buy those contracts. So that's called absorption. So certainly we're out of this first contract. You know, I gotta get rid of these. This is gonna do nothing but confuse me. What a pain in the butt. So at this point, we would be in one contract right now. We'd still have a short. ES still looking strong here. All right, so we'd have a short here. Again, now we have nice divergence. It looks like if we were to make another push up. So, I'd still keep my stop out above here because I would look to be adding into this position if we make a move back up right around where we're in here, 18. Maybe I'd like to get a little bit of a better entry. What by one tick. I'd look to be adding into this position if we get a move back up to 18, 19. Every one of the BBs as price is making new high based on the start of day, right? You can see the vertical line in each of the BB charts representing start of day. Every one of those BBs are making new highs with the high of day. So we're not getting any sort of divergence from the open. We do have divergence from the overnight session, but we don't have any from the open. We can see here we've come down now to 808 a couple of times. Let's see if this will continue to push down. First time of the day we've gotten below 21 EMA. Let's see if it holds its resistance now. The gap up we had today was fairly small in oil. Well, I think we had it in. Yeah, we opened. All right. We opened here at 52.84. 17-point gap, not huge for oil. So I would have expected to see some effort to close that, but obviously that has not been the case. All right, ES turned down. We're going to start watching for a potential trade opportunity here. Right there's our opening price. Came and tested the open. The open held. Looks like we might be setting up for divergence. I'm really not that excited about trying to go short. Just the fact that we're so close to that all-time high really bothers me. We have a level up here, so I don't think I'd be looking to go short in this region. But maybe if we pushed up and set up, I'd be willing to use this level potentially as a short. But right now, the long is what I'm looking for. What I should do. I think we're getting a little too much information there. Yeah, it's going back a couple of days. That's pretty good. Okay. Excuse me. So VWAP still holding a support on, let's go here, sorry, on oil. VWAP has been holding a support. We're below 21 EMA. Really nice divergence. we do have the hidden divergence here. Again, I'll show you what that means. Higher, low, lower, low. That tends to be a bullish sign. So we don't have it on the other two charts, only on the 610. But just something I want to start, paying attention to. All right, so ES still messing around near the open of the day. Just making sure that all the levels that are over on our homework chart have transferred over to our trigger charts here on the ES, and it looks like they have. All right, so at this point, it's getting close to where I'm going to start looking to wrap it up.
Mom, I don't want to have phones anymore. Okay. It's hurting my ear. Oh.
All right, let's talk about what some of the just a real quick review here on oil. Missed the first potential trade opportunity here. I can't tell you I would have taken it. I could tell you I didn't take this, but absolutely should have. Pull back VWAP, pull back 21 EMA, pull back the middle of the day at that point with a level beneath us, many beneath us. No reason not to have taken that trade. Then here, as we start consolidating, in conjunction with the holding at the VWAP, holding at the 21 EMA, we saw absorption. We saw as this came down, we saw people buying. We saw sellers hitting the bid, and there were people buying up those contracts. This was a nice opportunity for a long, and predominantly, if we had more levels above us here, I wouldn't be saying this, but the reason why this was a nice one is because we not only were we looking for our 10 ticks, we looked at this as if we get through this, we know we're coming up to test a couple ticks short of microcomposite VPOC 23. So 21, 2 ticks away. Literally, we would have been at the high of day for that. So that's a little bit of poor trading on my part. Turned it into a decent day so far. We're out of one contract making 9 ticks, whatever that number is. We're still in one contract from 18. We have not had the chance to add back into this position. Really, we should have 3 here. Let's just assume we have the 2. At this point now, what we're looking for to come down below VWAP, get down there, push back into yesterday's, ultimately to try to get into overnight range down here beneath overnight high, and then ultimately to get back into yesterday's range, which is here's yesterday's high. So profit target for this particular trade, since I'm not going to be in front of the screen to kind of watch it as it goes, what I would do in a case like that is I'm going to leave my stop where it is for now, and I'm going to put profit target down here right above microcomposite VPOC. So we're going to put it at 88. Okay, so we'll just make a note of that. And I'll tell you what could happen that would change that if we were watching the screen. So number one thing that can happen is what we're talking about here with this hidden divergence. If we see more of that, on these charts on the longer term BBs, maybe that would change. Second thing that can happen is we push down and we start failing, around opening range mid, around in this consolidation, just other areas that give us potential to say, okay, let's close our trade. But Since we're not going to be in front of the screen, that's what we'll have. We'll have that down here. We'll have a stop of 28. Look at ES. ES came up. Did create negative divergence. We weren't watching to see it. Did create negative divergence. Did give some decent trade potential here. Not bad. Not great. Not great, but not bad. All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Time for me to go play in the snow.